Hello, Holistic Chamber of Commerce family. Welcome to today's member spotlight segment. And I have with me today Janina Butts, and we're talking about burnout, how to spot it and take action. This is such a great topic because we all know that stress, anxiety, burnout is so on the rise, and so many people are experiencing it. And I, for one, like can't stand the word hustle because to me that's like let's drive, like the bull in the china shop. So
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get more into that. But just real quick about Yanya, she is a certified life and health coach, certified Reiki master, sound healer, and registered nurse. She comes from a healthcare background of 25 years. So we all know nurses have lived burnout, experienced it, but she's also successfully overcome it. Now her purpose is to guide and teach her fellow healthcare workers and those in the medical field through the worst times of post-pandemic. So welcome so much. I'm glad you're here with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So let's start with what are some of like the obvious and maybe not so obvious signs of burnout?
There's really 12 stages of burnout, but I always highlight the ones that are often overlooked. I think every job is stressful, and sometimes we do complain. Oh my God, it's only 10 o'clock. It feels like an eternity. I don't feel like doing anything today. I hardly slept. So there's all little words that we drop at work. But truly, the ones that do identify, I'll kind of highlight three major points where you might start thinking about that you are experiencing a burnout. And number one is decreased satisfaction of your work and probably loss of sense of accomplishment. And this is when you're dreading to go to work, but you still pull yourself together, get your coffee going, get your affirmations done in the morning, prayers, whatever works. You come in full of energy, and still you're not satisfied at work. Little things trigger you. And then at the end of the day, you still feel unaccomplished, unproductive, like the day just didn't really put any kind of sense into anything. Number two is loss of motivation and negative outlook. And this one kind of ties even your team into it because wherever we work, there's always an environment of people who are supporting you and who are guiding you unknowingly, still with the energy of them and the vibes that they give. However, you still are not motivated. And I'll give an example. Often, as a nurse, we have new introductions to new policies or new movement or something that's going to happen that's going to change a little bit. Things going to change a little bit at work. And I remember myself instantly, I'm like, this is a really stupid idea. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to the meeting. I already know it's not going to work. It's going to put too much effort. And I think this is a really good sign to really, when you feel that way and when you think that way, like, why? Why is it that I'm so negative and so unwilling to even try something new that might improve the outcome, might improve the patient or customer satisfaction. So that's the second one. And number three, on the deeper level, is sense of failure and self doubt. I have seen the most educated, most intelligent, pure hearted people that made a decision on a spot that was perfect. The outcome was good, whether the patient or the family was happy, saved somebody's life, or with the clients, it went really in the right direction. the person steps out of the room or out of the environment, and the ideas of could have, should have start spinning. And if you're close enough to the person, they'll verbalize it to you. And it's really hurtful to watch because you see how awesome this person is. You see the skill, you see the brilliant outcome, but yet deep inside, they're so doubtful and they're so, um, they have such a sense of failure. Once again, it is on the deeper level. It is a sign of burnout. So if you are spinning words, would have, should have, could have, anywhere really at work or at home or in your outside world, it is something to stop and think about because you might be that brilliant, intelligent person. You just need a little help with how to deal with what's going on. And then probably the last and really sad one is the sense of helplessness and hopelessness. And this is when you come home, you no longer have stress or anybody pushing you, giving you more tasks to complete. You have your free time, you have your bed, and you're laying there, and you have absolutely no hope, and you just feel helpless. Like this is it. There's like why I don't know what to do. I don't know what my future looks like. You can't stand the laugh of your kids. Your husband is irritating you. The sun is too bright. The stupid birds shouldn't be singing, and it's just a complete done. And I think you go into isolation and avoidance of family and friends. But then the really sad one is the avoidance of yourself. You lose the sense of emotions. Your vibrations are very low. So you're just like this person that is really not sure why do I even exist. And this is a really serious one. And this is really time to get up and ask for help. Now, I am a life coach, so I do not do therapy as a mental health professionals do. So I do advise to call the mental health professionals. However, if you do need an assistance or just asking for help, I will be more than happy to take that call.
I like what you talked about because these are like varying degrees of burnout. There's like that first that's like, self-awareness. I remember way back when I was doing community mental health. And I thought, if I get in my car one more time and have to drive 45 minutes to see a client, it's like, I'm going to scream. So I had this self-awareness of, I really do not want to be doing this anymore. But when you get to those next two steps that you were talking about, you're right. It's, when you get to that place of, just kind of giving up on life, it's almost like you've gone, way too far. And there is support there, but we want people to recognize, like, before you get there.
Absolutely.
Let's start to recognize some of these symptoms. Yeah.
And I think too, what happens is, let's talk about like the physiological part of stress. When you're under stress, you are in flight and fight response. So you have, like, if you saw a bear in the woods, you get that scare feeling in your belly, and that's your gut. That's your gut instinct. When you see a bear 100 times in the woods, you lose that. You lose that gut feeling. So when you're not just intermediate stress, but chronic stress, puts you in a situation where you don't even know what's going on with you can't even identify how you're feeling. And that's going back to the tasks and to all the yeses and all the people pleasing that you're saying, is like, this is where you have to go back and start backing up. So you take care of yourself. So you're not losing your gut instinct, because what happens then is you start making poor decisions. You're undecisive, you continue to people please, and it just gets you into a whole different world besides the stress and besides the burnout. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And I feel like society now normalizes stress, like, oh, it's expected.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think of our phrases, like I said, hustle, I'm like, you know, don't say that word. But, you know, you have to work like a dog, climbing the corporate ladder. It's almost like we're expected to have all of this stress in order to be successful. And I think it
Mhm.
totally sends the wrong message to
Mhm.
people like, no, this is not normal. You know, you
Yeah.
should not be tense and feeling this way.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah. So what are some ways that people try to cope? That's probably not the most effective way of coping.
Hmm. Well, I'll go ahead and throw a really negative word, addictions, because truly that's what they are. I just gonna be straight up. And I think the most common one is overeating. So to deal with the stress, to give that little pump of happiness and pleasure, we grab food and we just keep on doing it because it gives that um, instant gratification for feeling sad, but then it bounces between then feeling guilty because I ate too much, then you feel fat, and then you're not sleeping well, and things like that. So that is like the most common one. But then there's so many different types of addictions that, once again, the most common that we hear is drugs and alcohol. However, anything that affects your life in a negative way, where it's stealing time from self care, would be an addiction. It would be a negative coping mechanism. So that would be shopping. Um, it would be social media scrolling nonstop. It would be porn. It would be overuse of pain medications or anxiety medications. It would be gaming. It would be workaholism because some people escape by going back to work and doing more, because when you're in a helpless and hopeless situation laying in bed, you're also feeling guilty that you're not out there busting your butt and hustling. So workaholism is also a negative coping mechanisms. And I will tell you, I have tried a lot of them and they do not work. They do not work. They get you in the worst place. So
It's
identify your coping. Yes.
it's like putting a band-aid on a broken bone. It's
Yeah.
like that's
Yeah.
not gonna do
Yeah.
it really.
Yeah. You actually bleed a lot more with those. So they don't work.
Yeah. How do you, all right, so you say that you're into doing some life coaching now. What does it look like when people work with you?
So what I offer is it's a program. It is called Transformation Intense, and I'll kind of identify the couple of major points of how we start with how the person would start with my program. So you don't like the word hustle. I don't like the word how to or hacks in life. There is really nothing how to in life. It is for to step forward towards life coaching. Two things would have to happen. Number one, you would really want to change, like really, really want to change. You want to get out of that stuck feeling, out of not having any vision and any goals or any perspectives for the future. So you would really want to change. So that's number one. And number two is hitting the rock bottom. Once again, with the hitting the rock bottom, I'm not just talking about drinking yourself to death or drugging yourself to death. It is, once again, it's being in the place of you don't know where else to go. Um, so the very first step that has to happen in my program is I teach my clients how to crop out time and money for their self care. Because to be in my program, you do require to be either in person in my office. or virtually, 1 to 2 hours per week consecutively on the same day of the week for 12 weeks. So that is the first step that I teach, is to how to crop out time. We sit down and figure out how the ways to do it. Number two, so once we figure out the day, then we pinpoint the areas of most stress in the person's life and create step-by-step action plan. Um, it is a questionnaire. However, it's very interactive. I ask questions. I don't advise or teach at that point. I navigate the person to really come up with the problem and why it's happening, just getting to the root of it. And then we develop the plan, how to tackle it down. And once again, it's a 12-week program. And during that time, we address all 4 areas of well being, which is mind, heart, body, and soul. And what is unique about my program, I'm very much about back to basics. So we unclutter your life from everything. Okay. So I make difficult easy, and I make hard very smooth. So it's very small steps where you're not shocked into like, oh my God, I'm, trying to lose weight and I'm trying to sleep better and I'm trying to crop out time. It's not like that. It's very small steps. But at the end of the program, you're completely transformed into living your lifestyle that you desire in harmony and balance.
I don't know if other people could get this, but as I was listening to you describe your service, I was thinking, I appreciate your background, the nursing part too, because I feel like while you support your clients, you're also, no nonsense. There is a level of accountability here that's like, you need to show up for yourself, and you're not going to take, excuses and reasons why you can't this time. It's kind of like, this is no nonsense.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people need that, because there are a lot of programs out there that are, kind of like, well, I'm supporting you, but it's like a DIY, you have to be responsible, but that doesn't work for everybody. So so it's kind of like you're hardcore, but you're not, if that makes sense. I don't want to scare anybody.
You actually nailed it on the head too, because another really big part in my program is play, because even though I am very disciplined and very goal oriented with my clients, it's in a very subtle way. So we do use a lot of humor. We use some body movements when we do our movement program, that you would normally not get out of yourself, but I make people feel very comfortable about it. Because I think too, a lot of things that hold us back goes very, very far and far back, and it is bringing your child out. We forget our little playful selves. So it's like, I'm being a mama bear. I'm being your coach. But I am holding people very much accountable. So they do complete the program, and then they're like, well, thank you so much for being so harsh, but yet so playful. So.
What is that, just real quick, like what do they get? Like when they complete your program, what are the most interesting results that you've heard from people?
I think because I add a lot of, I add spirituality, and I also do Reiki, the energy healing, which that is not introduced in the beginning of the program, because a lot of people say, oh, you do that hocus pocus BS. But I do incorporate it. And I think the most interesting and really most touching and rewarding feedback that I get is that people are a lot more open-minded to spirituality and to their going to that transient to the top of themselves. So now that their life is back in balance, they have time. They can't wait to see what else is out there. So it's opening their mind to depth and different layers of life. And the materialistic part kind of falls off. And that is most rewarding to me when I hear that.
And that's a beautiful element of self-care too. I think spirituality and open-mindedness and having more compassion and empathy and understanding. I mean, that's all caring for yourself. That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. All right. So if you have burnout, go work with Yanya. All right, so if someone is interested in working with you, how can they connect with you?
So right now, unfortunately, my website is under construction, but you can email me at buttsjanina@gmail.com. I do respond relatively quickly. And through there, we can set up your 30-minute free consultation via phone to identify if I am a good fit for you and if you're a good client for me. One thing I will say is that a lot of people see life and health coaching as you mentioned, as like a program to lose weight. And, like I had clients that come in and say, okay, well, my ultimate, if I had a magic wand in 12 weeks, I want to look like Jennifer Lopez. So it's not going to happen. There's no magic pill. But what we're going to transform you into feeling the most beautiful person in the world. So if we're not a good fit, it's okay. I do have resources, and I do have a lot of life coach friends that I can refer you to.
Nice. And tell people how to pronounce your name, because it's spelled like Janina, but it's not.
Yeah, it's pronounced Yanya, Yanya. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And I get Janina all the time, so I do answer, but I will correct. And you got it really good, because normally it takes about 3 months for people to learn and memorize it.
Oh, it's not that hard.
By the end of the program, you will know how to say my name.
Yeah, that's lovely. Thank you so much for being here today and sharing your expertise around burnout. So if you're watching this and it sounds like on that first tier, please reach out to Yanya, because you don't want to get past that. You don't want to get to that, second or third stage. So thank you so much for being here and sharing your wisdom.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you too. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.
Thank you.